Freedom, 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 oi, freedom, 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 oi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome in to Studio Live today. And this week's podcast, something different, something a bit special on this week's show. It is the 4th of July. It's election day for some folks, I think, in some parts of the world. And for me, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. So, what do we got on the show this week? It's going to be a bit more of a casual, relaxed kind of affair. I've got a bunch of topics here. I've got 12 different topics, in fact, that I'm going to be talking about throughout the show. We're going to be talking about Songtember. That's our Song in a Month challenge. That's coming up in 8 weeks' time, less than 2 months' time, because it's the 4th of July, but it's actually 2 months till Songtember. That's the real celebration, isn't it? Because that's just around the corner. So I thought we would gather here today. We'd talk about Songtember. We'll review the last 5 years because we've been doing this thing since 2019, the before times, the long, long ago. So we'll be chatting a little bit about that. And if you have questions, we are interactive. If you're here live, if you've got any questions at all that you'd like to throw my way, all you need to do is put a big Q in front of your comment, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have about music, life, the universe, pretty much everything. So settle in, and we will continue chatting about things. Now, if you're listening to the podcast version and you want to see the live video version because you think I've missed out on something, I want to find out what's going on, you can do that as well. You can jump on over and check out the video version at studiolivetoday.com/watch. And if you want to learn all about Songtember, if you're like, what's this Songtember banter that he's going on about, you can go to studiolivetoday.com/Songtember. That's your one-stop shop for all your Songtember needs. How many times can we say the word Songtember in one show? We'll give it a go. So we kicked things off with Songtember back in 2019. I had this idea, I had this vision that we should create a month where everyone gets together and we create, record, and release a song all within the month of September. So I did this previously on the channel. The very first song I did was a song called For the Birds, and I did that over a month period, just randomly here on the channel. And I thought that was a really good challenge for me personally. And I thought maybe others would like this same sort of challenge, because the big problem or the big challenge that I find when you're actually recording music is not finishing, is only getting, 50% done or 90% done or 99% done, and not actually releasing or sharing your music with the world. So I thought, what do we need? We need a little bit of what I like to call positive time pressure. PTP, everything's got to be an acronym, doesn't it? We need some positive time pressure. We need to have something where folks, if you're struggling to get that song finished, something that can actually encourage you to actually finish it. So in 2019, I said, hey, let's turn September into Songtember, and let's make it a Song in a Month challenge where I do this, but I invite you to do it as well. So Songtember 2024, she's just around the corner, folks. Just 8 weeks, less than 2 months away, and we'll be doing this all again. So it kicks off on the 1st of September. We have a big launch party, and I throw the gauntlet down. I challenge you, and I say, make a song. Could be any sort of song, any style, any genre. If you get to the end and you've just got an idea, that's cool, but the whole concept is you map it out and you go, right, got to write a song, got to record it, got to mix it, got to master it, got to release it, got to get it out there to the world, and that is what we did. And as Thomas kindly says here, you can find out about all things Songtember over at studiolivetoday.com/Songtember. Why don't we listen to the very first Songtember song that I created and that I shared here, which is a song at the time. At the time, I was working a day job that I didn't love, and I was starting this YouTube caper, and I found that a lot of people were saying to me things like, oh, yeah, it's too hard to be a YouTuber, it's too hard to be a content creator, it's too hard to do all the things, and they wanted this, overnight success. They wanted this instant gratification. Luckily, in 2024, 5 years later, all that's out the window. Everyone's so much more patient. Attention spans are so much longer. No one's frustrated with the yeah. So we will dive in and listen to this one. It's called Hold On, and it's about the fact that life is long. but you got a lot of time. So to kick off our freedom celebration here, here's a little ditty from October 1st, 2019, at the end of the very first song timbre. It is called Hold On. Life is long and you have much time. You're in a rush and you don't know why. You want it all and you want it now, but you doubt your talent and you don't know how. Look around at what others do. Think it's easy, so why not you? But success isn't overnight, so if you want to win, you're gonna have to fight. Hold on, hold on. It's gonna be a long time. Hold on, 'cause it's gonna be a long, long time. Hey! There are times when you might give in, thinking there's just no way to win. Looking sideways at other folks, thinking you're the butt of everyone's jokes. But there's one lesson that I've learned: when you feel that you can't return, that is that you should persevere, because you won't get it done by living in fear. Hold on, hold on. It's gonna be a long time. Hold on, 'cause it's gonna be a long, long time. They say get rich, buy a car, a house, a diamond ring, but that won't really make you happy. So hold on. It's gonna be a long time. Hold on, 'cause it's gonna be a long, long time. Hold on. It's gonna be a long time. Hold on, 'cause it's gonna be a long, yes, it's gonna be a long, and it's gonna be a long, long time. And who would have known that here 5 years later that we would all still be holding on. And weirdly enough, I wrote that in 2019, which was a good for 4 months before the pandemic really hit in. But people thought I was some kind of weird psychic because I was saying, they were like, did you write this song about the pandemic, about the fact that we're all going to be stuck inside and having to hold on because it's going to be a long, long time? And then 3 years later and 4 years later and 5 years later, yeah, we still got the same challenges. So that was the original version of that song. Now I did do a remix of that. So that was back in the olden days, in the before time, in the long, long ago, back before I had advantages like Jade Starr doing some drum programming on my music, and the newer version has some much better drums on there. So if you want to check out the newer version of that and all of the other music, petejohns.com. I've still got it up, even though Songwhip has kind of gone away. I've still got my Songwhip page there. I spoke to Wilson, who's the Wilson Page, who used to run Songwhip, and I said to him, "What's going to happen?" Because I just point my petejohns.com at Songwhip, and he's like, "I'm desperately trying to maintain the pages you already have." But he did say that perhaps they wouldn't update, and it does look like this hasn't updated with my latest releases, so I may need to. There's another service. This is what today's going to be like, by the way, folks. We're going to be going on tangent after tangent, but there's another one called song.link, which you can do, and I think you can do this for an artist as well. I think this is a problem. that I had, because Songwhip had a really good artist page set up, but I think you can only do song.link for a specific song. Let's have a look, which is a problem. Yeah, it can only be an art, like a page for your song. So I guess I could change it and make it my latest song if I wanted to. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Song.link has a nice little customizable page there that you can play around with if you so desire. Excusez-moi. Yes, I like it. Oh, mate, the tangents. Speaking of tangents, Jamie Mallender. Jamie, it reminds me that if you do go to my web page, because we are going to be talking, I didn't call this like Songtember breakdown, but it's basically going to be a lot of Songtember related stuff. But if you go to studiolive.today.com/Songtember, you will find a whole bunch of information. So there it is, Songtember 2024 is kicking off soon. You can subscribe to my email list if you're not already subscribed. And there is the showcase that we did for all the 2023 songs, of which Jamie Mallender, I believe, had one last year. I think you were part of Songtember last year, Jamie. You're in the Friends of Songtember anyway, mate, so hopefully you did. But here's all the details about Songtember, what it is, where it is, and all these cool people that are friends of Songtember. So if you would like to be a friend of Songtember, if you're going to participate and you're creating content around it, Patrick Baird, looking your way, mate. You were just on Jade's channel. You can join the Friends of Songtember. But last year we had Jade Star, Thomas Christ, Lou Reality, The Rise of Dark Leela, Mr. Tommy Jack, and Jamie Mallender, as well as Keonra, who were all part of the Songtember crew. And it was cool because it was like almost every day there was someone doing a live stream, doing a video, sharing a demo, and that's kind of what it's all about. It's about just sharing your music and getting together to celebrate the music creation process because, yeah, look, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to do, to create music, and having people around you, having the crowd around you is, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. I think it's the dodgy internet. The videos going in and out of fuzziness. It was funny. I was doing the pre-show with my wife was here, and I'm like, wife, it's 100% perfect. It's looking good. It's sounding good. The test is good. I don't know what it is about the fact that as soon as I hit go live, everything changes, and it always just sort of falls in a bit of a hole. So yeah, we'll see. So it's not you, it's me. And it also may be that this Mac is on a little bit of its last legs. So I'm still rocking the 2020. Speaking of 2020, and speaking of the original days of YouTube, of Songtember, this Mac was from 2020, and it was the absolute base model. I know you're sick of me talking about it, but I've done something about it, and we'll be fixing it up soon. So you have to just bear with me for one more week, because next week we have the new Mac coming, and it should be good. Yeah. So this is the thing. I even changed my internet providers and everything. I do everything I can. We've got all the devices turned off. I've tried everything, and nothing seems to actually help. But what I will do is turn off all my Wi-Fi, because you never know, those dodgy Apple devices in particular, even when you don't think that they're using data, they kind of are. So if you are having issues like I am right now, going in and turning off your Wi-Fi on every device in your house can actually help you out, because sometimes they just sit there guzzling up bandwidth. And speaking of guzzling, we have Mr. Guzzo of Oz here. G'day to you. Hope you are doing well, my friend, and thank you for being here. All righty, we'll proceed. We'll see if the internet holds up for the duration here. I've got some things that I can play in the background here if things don't go to plan. But we'll keep going. I would love to. Someone mentioned earlier that if you would like to have a song played on Your Music Live, then you can go ahead and submit it. Here it is. And if you have a song, if you would like to share a song on Your Music Live, make sure you fill in the form. We're at the lovely point now where we're caught up, which is weird, because there was a time where we had a backlog of maybe 60 to 70 songs, meaning that I had too many songs to actually actually play all the songs every week, and we had to delay and we'd play songs later. Whereas now, yeah, we're actually almost caught up again. So every week I can pretty much play everything I get. So don't let me get to the point where we don't have enough songs to play. And the other cool thing is what I would recommend. So Joe Glenn here did this recently for me. They recommended the show to another music creator of their a music creation friend of theirs over in South Africa. I can't remember his name, but he makes amazing music. So if you have someone that you would like to recommend to the show or that I should chase up, I'm happy to do the legwork, then feel free to let me know, because some of the coolest people, some of you watching this right now, either live or on the replay, probably joined this. You didn't really know about this and you joined this community because someone recommended it to you. And that's a cool thing. That's what I love. I love being able to have the privilege of having people join this community and share their music with us. Thomas mentioned with Hold On that he was around for the very start of that, like the very first Songtember was about when Don Clark, there you go, thank you, Joe. Don Clark was the artist that we were talking about. So the very first Songtember was, look, a little bit rough around the edges and didn't really have the best structure in the world, but we got through it, we got a good song out of it. And a lot of other people that participated in Songtember told me that they wanted to do this more often, and I did grapple with that and go, maybe we should do this multiple times. But there's something about having that 1 month a year where we all get together and all do the same thing that's kind of cool. And I know for many of you, you have enjoyed participating in Songtember over the years. The other thing that I wanted to mention, studiolivetoday.com/Songtember, is that if you don't know what this is all about and you want to relive last year's Songtember, if you're like, what is he talking about? We've got a full playlist here. So you can actually jump in on the website and go to the playlist. And this has all of the different ones. So everything from Your Music Live. So yeah, we do a big Your Music Live at the end of Songtember, 4 hours and 30 minutes, mind you, of Your Music Live. So you can check that one out. And if you go back to the start here, you'll see, there's the Who's In. So that's the video we do just before. And then we do our big launch party. I do my song ideas. Last year we had a bunch of different ideas, and you, the community, got to help me choose which one I went with. And then we recorded a demo. We wrote lyrics. We did drums. We did mixing. We got a final mix. And then we released it. And it was my song called Choices that we released last year, which I'll play for you a little later on in the show as well. So Songtember is a cool thing, and one of our other friends of Songtember is joining us here. That is the one and only Jade Star. I've got a couple of questions that have come in here. I will grab this one. Question from Mr. Fomiati. Would you listen to my latest release? It's The Way It Goes. I sure would. I would love to listen to it, and I would love for you to submit. By the way, for folks that don't know, when you submit, it's actually super simple. I've made it as pain-free as possible. So if you go to studiolivetoday.com.com/YML, let's do it together. This is like the how to buy a He-Man action figure episode, but this is the how to submit your song. And what you do is you go to studiolivetoday.com/YML and you fill in this form. And I don't want to collect all your data or your information. I don't want that sort of responsibility. So all I want is your name, so we know what to call you, your email address, so I can let you know when you're on the show, a link to your song. YouTube is always preferred because it just looks a bit better if there's a video or even just YouTube music there. 1 or 2 sentences. Some people think that reads 4 to 5 paragraphs. Doesn't. It says 1 to 2 sentences about your song. And importantly, you need to tick this little yes. So you need to say, yes, I agree. Because some people put in all this detail and then they click no, or they leave that blank. And that's kind of my protection. Because if you fill in this form and you say yes, and then you come back at me and say, I didn't give you permission, or you try and copyright strike me for playing your song on the show, I can say, well, actually, you filled in this form. And then if you say, well, I don't want it there, well, then I just remove you, and it's all good. So that is how you do the Your Music Live thing. And Your Music Live kind of came out of Songtember, because after the first Songtember, we had like a big listen party where we listened to everyone's Songtember tracks that they created. And then we did that for a couple of years. And then I remember I was having a chat with Jade Star and maybe some others. And I said, I got this idea. I reckon I should do this. And Jade said to me at the time, be careful. People like hearing their music played. Musicians got some egos on them. You'll probably be inundated with people. And yes, we have. We have been inundated with people, which is a good thing. We enjoy it. All righty. I did see another question here. Don't forget, you can ask me anything, anything at all. You can even ask how my eye polishing went yesterday, if you like. There you go. There's a tease. There's a little lead in. That's a tease. Question: is a great place to start with a few of the best things in the world, and you will get. So was that a question? QQQQQ is a great place to start with a few of the best things in the world. I don't know. I thought that was a question there, Naomi, but it has started with a Q. Started with lots of Qs. But yeah, look, I'll be talking about a few of these things as well. We've got some weird topics on the topic list to chat about. G'day to the Vampire Queen. G'day to Danny Gable as well. I hope you are all doing very, very well. So yeah, so topic one was music, and if you've got indie music artists or creators that you think would benefit from being around here, and look, Jade just spoke with Patrick, one of my favourite people, two of my favourite people, chatting about music creation and mobile music creation and the growth of music creation in general over the last couple of years. And it does have some challenges. Like there's more competition, not only in the music space, but in the music education space as well, as Patrick mentioned there. Patrick and I are actually good friends and we get on well, but I do wonder if some people think that we actually secretly hate each other behind the scenes. I really want to start like a fake feud with Patrick just to see what happens, but yeah, it's too hard. He's too much of a nice guy. But yeah, it's been an interesting time because when the barrier to entry is virtually zero and anyone can do it, it means anyone does do it. And I actually think personally that that's a wonderful thing. I think that the more the merrier. I think that we want as many creators as possible creating music. Excuse me. Don't get one of these flus going around at the moment, folks. I highly recommend you stay away because this cough, it's stuck with me for the last 2 weeks. It's a little bit rough. So yeah, it's an interesting time for music and music creators. Hello, Jenny Jolivet. The next topic I had here was nostalgia. So I joined a couple of Facebook groups, and one was music specific. It was like, 90s grunge memes, and one was like Australia remember when, and I unfollowed them this morning because I read a post that was it was a picture of a kid like outdoors riding a bike, and it's like, when I was a kid, we had lead paint. We got whipped by our families. My father punched me in the face 3 times every night. I'd eat all of my vegetables, and I went outside, and I'm fine. And nothing annoys me more than this because. A, you're probably not fine. You've probably got skin cancer from all the sun exposure, and you've probably got lead poisoning from the lead paint in your house. But we are trying to do things better. And to say, oh, I did okay even though things were terrible, I get it. And I'm proud of you. You survived through a time that was a lot tougher. Should we continue to do things that we know are wrong? We also didn't allow, coloured people to have rights or LGBTQ people to have any rights. There were some horrific things that happened back in the day. So the rose-coloured glasses we have, and is this related to music? You're like, Johns, you're going off on a tangent. Of course I am. That's what these sort of shows are all about. But yeah, and as Joe Barry Glenn says, well, I don't know if you meant this, but you're more lucky than you were. Like those that did survive are lucky. There were also people that died at the age of 40 from polio, and it's like, yeah, we have vaccines for that stuff now, people. But yeah, how does this relate to music? Well, it's because people get nostalgic about music. And I don't know if you've been in any forums lately where people have been chatting about music and about the good old days. And it's usually people that want there to be a barrier to entry. I'm kind of linking through the different sections that we're talking about here today. People that wanted a barrier to entry because they wanted to feel superior and special, because they have their own hardware gear, their own outboard gear, their own studio. Some little pipsqueak upstart with an iPad wants to come in and say you're allowed to record your own songs in GarageBand and then release them independently using DistroKid, and they're like, oh, that shouldn't be allowed. It's muddying up the waters. It's diluting the pool of music. It should only be for professionals. And it's like, guess what, sucker? As soon as I sell one record or one MP3 file or distribute one album and get it streamed, I'm a professional too. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, because you probably smoke a pipe. You're probably sitting there in your studio with your analog reels going, oh, this is how the real musicians play, pipe smoking. But it really does frustrate me because it happens everywhere. It happens, and it's a classic case of people, instead of allowing other people to grow and developing, like watering and nurturing and nourishing and putting the fertilizer through the garden, they just want to chop everything off. It's the tall poppy syndrome. We have it here in Australia. It's like, oh, you're getting too big for your boots, sunshine. Yeah, it's not good. And I hope that it would, yeah, fire up the pipe. I hope that it was, I hope that it goes away. And is there a nicer way of putting this than I think it will die out eventually? And that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, the cough is it's annoying, isn't it, Jade? Because you're doing the same thing. The poor mute buttons on our Roadcast are getting a bang. They're getting a good thrashing. It's like they were a child in the 1960s. That's what our mute buttons feel like. Whack, 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 over and over again. I know. I just offended all of the pipe smokers. They're just like, they just got back from voting Tory at the UK election, and they're sitting there with their sherry and their pipe, and they're like, oh, I really must call Gary over at the Proper Studio and see about that analog recording. Like, what's this? Pete Johns? Outrageous. Yeah. Detectives from the 1800s, you reckon? I know. Bless the cough button. Maybe we need AI to have an automated cough button. It analyzes the image of you, and as you like go, if it notices or hears you sort of do a quick breathe in, it auto cough buttons. See, that would be a useful AI thing. Which brings us on to our next topic. I'm going to throw out a very random question here to the folks who are here with us live. By the way, thank you if you're on the replay. If you've got questions and you are on the replay and you're watching the video version, there's a comment section down below. If you're listening to the podcast version, hit me up, pete@studiolivetoday.com. I don't get enough emails. Let me rephrase that. I don't get enough legitimate emails. People think that they can't or aren't allowed to email me. Email me. I won't always be able to give you paragraphs of response, but if you've got a specific burning question, I'll usually be able to point you in the right direction. I'll direct you to my AI YouTube-generated brain that has all the good information in there. The jazz cabbage. Yeah, there's a bot for that. There's got to be a bot for that. So yeah, what do you think of AI and the AI music and this whole AI revolution? Because I'll tell you my opinion in a sec, but I'd love to hear from you if you're here on the chat. I had a big chat with Jade about this last week. Jade Starr, go to her channel. I'm sure her or Thomas have a link for you to go and check that out. But it was like 2 hours of really good conversation, if I do say so myself, about every facet of AI, what's useful, what's not useful, what the hype is telling us versus what reality is, why AI music is kind of doomed and why it's really not as good or bad as anyone thinks it is. It's somewhere in between. So would love to get your views on that. And my view around this stuff is that, yeah, and I know it's cliche to say, AI is just a tool, but it is. It is just one extra thing. And here's the thing though. We're seeing the true colors of the music industry. And when I say the music industry, I'm talking the three big labels. So I call them the industry and we're the community. So I think we need to get really clear about that the music industry, I am not involved in the music industry. I'm involved in the creator economy and the creator industry because I kind of have to. I have to, look, my corporate overlords are the likes of YouTube, Amazon, Meta. Without these companies, I have no reach. And I have to kind of make my peace with that because the options I have at this point in time are not get my message out there to people because I want to, stick my flag, plant my flag and say, no, these are all evil capitalist companies that only care about the bottom line instead of actually trying to empower people. Or I can say, the best way that I can help people is to use these platforms. So without them, I would not be able to do what I do now. So I kind of have this, you have to live this mixed reality, don't you, with this sort of thing. You have to make sure that you're doing the right thing by yourself. But hey, if I never did anything that breached my personal values 100%, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I wouldn't be using some of the equipment I'm using from some companies that I don't agree with everything they do. I wouldn't be using the platforms that I'm using as well. What do I mean by Tool? The band. Oh, I thought I was wearing my Tool t-shirt. I thought that was being all. So AI is a tool because the the AI, the artificial intelligence, we've had AI for decades. Let's not beat around the bush. The new AI, this whole generative AI stuff that's all the hype, is exactly that. It's hype. Whereas what we've had in the past is AI for things like amp simulations, for things like virtual drummers, for things like MIDI controls. So we've already got artificial intelligence within our music creation and within our computers and phones. We've had machine learning processing in our phones and in our laptops and our computers for decades. It's just that we've got this hype, this bandwagon that folks have jumped on, which is the hype around AI and saying that you now can just use AI to create music and you can remove the human. Whereas I would argue that the human is probably more important now than it ever has been. I think that if you leave the machine, like, do you know what would happen? Yeah, there's my chat. Do you know what would happen if AI just ingested AI? So if computers ingested computers, what that would do? Because we want what humans create. And I think that's the big thing that's been missing from here. We want the nuance, we want the quirkiness, we want the variety, we want the humor, we want the humanity that a human can actually put into things. And the only reason that the AI stuff is anywhere near good is because it does things like the humans did. So if you look at things like AI piano and like the keyboards and the drums and the bass in Logic Pro, for example, we only like them because they play keyboards, drums, and bass like our favorite humans. They are based around real humans playing real sampled instruments. And look, that's not always the case. Maybe if you're making some really intense electronic stuff, maybe you want to lean a bit heavier in a different way, and maybe you want to actually use a computer to train a computer to train a computer. But the problem is, if we just keep training and then the humans are taken out of the equation, the amount of input goes down, and the old shit in, shit out, it comes back around, doesn't it? So if you're just feeding in computer-generated garbage and then recreating more computer-generated garbage on the top of that, you're losing the connection with what we as humans want. And unless it's the computers that are consuming the computer stuff, which, hey, Skynet, baby, maybe it will be one day, then we really don't want that, do we? At the end of the day, AI and things that are happening are only good for us right now because they're doing things that we as humans want things to do. As soon as they stop that, as soon as they start doing things like the computers want them to do, I think we're shit out of luck. AI is but a tool. If you use it properly, you'll get a good job done. Never forget that if your only tool is a hammer, all your problems are nails. Yeah, exactly. It's a tool for particular things. Exactly. Could never write a song like Sober. Either the Tool version or my version. I have a song called Sober. No better feeling than playing a real set. Exactly. The feeling of the feedback you get from a real instrument. Like, I love virtual guitars, but when I strum an E chord and I hear that natural resonance. Now, I know you're not here in the room with me. You're just hearing it through a bunch of technology, which probably has some AI in there. But I feel it. Like, I feel it. I hear it. I can even smell it. Did you think that you'd get to watch me smell my guitar here? Yes, and the prompt engineering stuff. And this is the thing. At the moment, it is a new skill to learn, but I also think that the excitement around prompt engineering is a little bit overhyped as well, because as much as at the moment it is a new skill to learn, that will get fixed because we will want this AI to just do things for us that we say in our human way. If we have to learn a whole new language to program it, then we should probably just be programming things. Whereas if we can just talk to it, this is why the new Buggerlugs, which is Apple's assistant, which you all know the name of, but I try not to say so that all your devices don't light up, is going to be very interesting to see how well they can do this. We will see. Yeah, there you go. It will be. We'll go to college for prompt engineering. Oh yes, I'm in the third year of my prompt engineering course. I just learned how to create a realistic tree. Yeah. Barry's old Taylor smells like a bar room. Yeah, mine probably smells like a Cooper's Pale Ale from all the pails that I've drunk while playing it on happy hours here. Speaking of music, before we go to our next topics, costly place to store your picks. I don't think I have any in here at the moment. Let's talk. Let's talk about Songtember again. So if you're just joining us here, if you're cruising on in and you're coming to the party late, DistroKid. I'm going over to DistroKid because this is where I release all my songs. And today's show isn't sponsored by DistroKid, but they are a sponsor of this channel. Full disclosure. So you can see how much work I've done in the last year. I've released one song since September last year, and it was a remix done by Thomas Christ. But this is last year's song called Choices. And I did also, before last year's Songtember, I put out a little EP, which I need to do again at some stage soon. Where is it? It's called Songtember something, isn't it? The Songtember Collection. And I need to probably pull this down and put it back up with the new songs and maybe even Thomas's remix on there as well. But this is good. This is a reminder for me of the different songs that we've done over the years. So it started with Hold On, with Ended New Beginning. Now, this was 2020's song, and this is the most 2020 song because this was when I was about to be canned from my day job. I was about to start being a full-time content creator. In fact, September of 2020 was the exact month that I went full-time on YouTube. So it was a really interesting time all around. And then we did some more sort of acoustic-y stuff the next couple of years. So I was trying to learn how to play New Beginning, but it's actually in a dropped D. Is it drop D or dropped D? I sort of use them interchangeably. I used to say dropped D, but then I think someone corrected me and said it's drop D. I still think dropped D sounds righter. But so if you remember the New Beginning and most of our Songtember stuff, I'll just come back over here because it's having problems. Displaying the additional screen has problems with the internet there. But we started with a... So, yeah, I wonder if I could... Should I attempt it acoustically? Would you rather hear the real song with all the cool rock guitars, or would you rather hear me attempt to play it acoustically? I'll put it to a somewhat straw poll here for the folks that are here live. And it is drop D. Drop D, yeah. I think it was Joe Gilder, embarrassingly, one of my original heroes of the home recording YouTube scene, who corrected me the first time when I said dropped D, and he's like, "You mean drop D, fella?" I'm like, yes, I do, Mr. Joe. You're right. G'day, Phil. Hope you are doing all right. Dropped sounds better. I know it's kind of dropped. Should we try it acoustic, or we've got a couple of votes for acoustic? We'll give it a crack. I got the guitar out here now, and it could be a disaster, but that's why you come to these. I did say before the show, I'm like, I don't have a lot planned for today, so it means it could be one or two things. It could be, really interesting, and maybe we'll tackle some interesting topics, or it could be a train wreck. So we'll go with it either way. All righty, let's fire it up. What is it called? Choices. Choices. There it is. People. No, that was the wrong one. We wanted to do this one. New Beginning. We'll do Choices later. New Beginning. So this is back in 2020. Hands up. Who here in the chat was here in 2020? Who remember doing this song and who did a 2020 version of this? Oh, there it is. I've got my lyrics here now. This is one that's got quite a few different sections. Okay, let's give it a go. This one is called New Beginning. Hesitation, fear of change, paralyzed you, made you doubt yourself. Cultivation of new ideas make a difference to you and those you care. There's a new beginning, ready if you want it. All you gotta do is open up your mind. Hesitation, going nowhere fast. You will never break the chains that hold you back. Motivation to be yourself, to paralyze you and let you live your life. Your life. Glass of wine sounds good. Ooh! Watch out! It's coming for you. Ready or not? Full bore. When you feel you're not prepared for what's coming next, you should know we all relate. No one ever sees it coming. It's a new beginning, and your beginning starts now. Hesitation, going nowhere fast. You will never break the chains or feel the pain of all the change unless you take a chance to reach out for the next thing. New beginning, new beginning. Oh, go, go, go right now, now, now. 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 Oh dear. And we learn why we don't do that song acoustically. For those of you who survived through that, yeah, see, dropped D is not the greatest. It's not the greatest tuning for an acoustic song, because your 3-note chords, they sound really cool. When you're on an electric guitar. On an acoustic guitar, they're a little bit harder. But thank you. Look, you got to try things. Today's all about experimentation and just having a little bit of fun. And I enjoyed that. It's not going on my rotation on my set list as a regular song to play, but always good to try something a little bit different. A hot toddy. Hot toddy, yeah. Main ingredient whiskey. I know. And when I was sick last month, I was not drinking as well, which was a challenge. And look, I know some people said to me, "Oh, I don't drink that much anyway. That would be super easy for me to not drink for a month." And to that, I say, "Yay, good on you." But think of the vice that you do have, and then not having to do that for a month. Like, I'm not saying it's not possible, and in fact, I like the fact that I did it because it means that I could. But would I choose to do it all the time? Probably not, but it was a good deal because I was able to, both Georgie and myself, for those that don't know, Georgie and myself participated in Dry July. So we spent the month raising money. We've raised, I think it was over $1,100 now, and we're still sort of fundraising and annoying and bugging people on social media in our friendship circle to donate to us. So yeah, if you'd like to donate, you can still welcome to do so. But it's raising money for cancer research and cancer, important importantly, I mean, research is important. Don't get me wrong, but actually helping people out with cancer is an important thing as well. And there's lots of organisations, as we've now found, because my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer late last year, and gone through surgery and stuff. She's doing well. But yeah, it's a tough thing, and a lot of people are impacted by it. So yeah, me like the feeling of doing a sacrifice, which was I say all that to say I couldn't have a hot toddy when I was sick last month, and sometimes just having a quiet little beverage. I think it's true. The alcohol does kill some of the germs sometimes. I believe it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, going dry for a month wasn't the funnest one ever. I was playing "Can't Find My Way Home" Blind Faith in Drop D earlier. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good fun playing in Drop. In fact, we've got another song to play in Drop D later because apparently that's what I do when I do my more rocky songs. I do them in a Drop D tuning, just because. Um, what now? Am I a hypocrite? I asked that question because the next thing I want to talk about here is not related to music whatsoever. I can't even find a subtle music connection. Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I'll try and find a music connection. But I think that fireworks are kind of crap. I know. Is that a controversial opinion to have, to say that, especially on this day, which we're recording this one on what is the 4th of July for our American friends, is it okay to not like fireworks? Am I just being a big giant Debbie Downer? And I've decided that with everything, like, because my 2024 kind of mantra has been, you do you, boo, because what you do, if it doesn't affect anyone else. In fact, last year's Songtember song kind of kicked all this off, because it was, why do you care what they think of your choices in life? And I think a lot of us spend a lot of time worried about what other people think about what we do. And I think the bottom line, and the reason that it's related to fireworks here, is that I don't like fireworks, but I also don't care if you do, as long as you respect two things: that your fireworks don't impact me really bad. And this is, I guess, why I don't like fireworks, because a lot of people that have their own fireworks in their backyard on New Year's Eve here in Australia and 4th of July and whatever, it really does impact other people. It really is way too loud and way too obnoxious, and it hurts the poor doggies' ears, and they freak out and then they run away, and it really is disruptive. So that's actually not thinking about other people, because it's having an impact. But on the flip side, am I being a hypocrite then because I'm saying, hey, your thing? There might be some people that are like, you strumming your acoustic guitar in your little suburban front room there, mate. I heard that. I walked past and I heard the faint sound of your acoustic guitar, and that offends me as much as fireworks offend you, buddy. So you should not throw stones in your glass house. I don't know. I'm trying to be more tolerant, I guess, and understanding, and let bygones be bygones, and let people do what they want to do. But at the same time, kind of feels like some people just do things without any thought or care factor of how it impacts others. And yeah, that goes very to simple things like blowing up fireworks, but it also goes to how people treat others and doing things and saying things about how people treat others. I don't know. F fireworks, yeah. Let's see. Fireworks suck. My dog is freaking out right now. There you go. Hello, Harry. Well, do you like fireworks? Weird question. Yeah, power cords do sound bigger. I'm hearing them popping off all around me. It's kind of annoying. Traumatise and kill wildlife. So I didn't even think of that. Don't like fireworks, nor does my cat. And this is the thing. It's kind of like new music. Like, if all of the people that I hang out with don't like it, who is liking it? Who's doing this stuff? Is it the kids? Do I need to go and join those nostalgia groups and start? Yeah, no one has been traumatized by a quiet guitar. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess the thing might be if I went out the back and was playing out loud, and if I was singing like Wonderwall, if I was like outside going, there might be someone that really hates the Gallaghers and doesn't want to hear me playing Wonderwall outside. I don't know. But yeah, I thought we're doing a 4th of July celebration kind of thing. So I got to talk about at least one thing that's semi-related to that. Hello, Kazi Mobile. Hope you are doing well. Remember, if you do have a question, you can indeed ask it. So I'm always open to questions. All you need to do is put a big Q in front of your question like that. I'm using the new Apple, not the new Apple, I'm using my new Apple Magic Mouse, and I've noticed that its clicker is way louder than any other clicker. And weirdly enough, unlike the trackpads and things, you can't just tap it, even though it's got a touch sensitive surface for its scrolling. You have to genuinely click it. So yeah, if you do live streaming, maybe reconsider the Apple Magic Mouse. And it charges with a port underneath it using Lightning, which is very weird. That like what, couldn't put it on the back. There's not enough room on the back there for it. They do make, and see, that's the thing. Are we going to get to the point? And whenever I say things like this in certain company, and you've probably heard the same sort of thing, I get that, you're so woke. What's wrong with you? Are a bloody wet blanket. You're bringing other people's fun away, and won't let anyone. You can't say anything these days. There's no banter. You can't do anything. You can't say anything. We've got the politically correct police stopping us from being racist and sexist. So what's wrong with a bit of a racist comment every now and then? Yeah. It's very weird, isn't it? And it kind of has, again, we're not talking politics, even though for our poor UK friends, you are at the moment. Oh, your Prime Minister, whose name escapes me, because he's only been it for a while and you've had so many lately. And I know so have we, Australia are weird as well. But him standing out the front of 10 Downing Street in the rains going, I think we should have us an election, we should. It was just so sad. And I'm like, this is the world politics right now. If you look at the absolute garbage fire that is the American election and then the UK elections, and here in Australia we've got the Senate elections, and it's like, I can't even. So that's why I'm not talking about it. We're just hanging out and we're talking that. Fireworks that sound like Black Sabbath would be cool. Yeah. I'm paranoid about fireworks. You look, everything but the clicking, mate. Everything but the clicking is good. And I thought it would be non-ergonomic, but it actually fits my hand really nicely. So I've been enjoying the actual feel of the mouse. Yeah, forgot him already. Got a couple more questions here. I think Robert. So the weather here, it's been cold, mate. It's you don't think of Australia and South Australia as being a cold place, but when we get those like icy winter chills and low pressure systems coming through, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, it was 2 degrees, and it was so cold that like we'll actually have. I know people are like 2 degrees. Call me when you need to snow shovel your front path to get to the street. But for Australia, 2 degrees Celsius, pretty cold. And we're not designed for it. So, icy, slippery roads and cars not starting and condensation on things and icing up, like we're just not used to it because it very rarely gets below about, 8, 9 degrees Celsius even overnight here. So it has been really, really cold. It's just started coming through the other side now. So a bit of sunshine today, and it's nice. It's nice weather. It's nice weather for a Guinness or for a Kilkenny. In fact, I think I might stroll to my local pub for a Kilkenny today, because now that I'm back on the booze, I can go and enjoy a nice dark ale as well. Yeah, and I know because it's really, really hot all over the US. Apparently, you guys are having a massive heat wave at the moment, which doesn't bode well. But here it's really, really cold. And the thing I hate about when it's cold, hot or otherwise, is when people, especially when it gets cold, and people are like, so much for global warming, right? Am I right? It's like, oh, mate, do we have to have a conversation? Do I have to explain to you the difference between weather and climate? They're not the same. And you feeling slightly colder and a day being colder than average doesn't mean that there ain't climate change. In fact, it means that there probably is, because there's the bigger discrepancies between the high and low temperatures. That ain't good either. So, yeah. It's true. We normally do have that. No, I don't want to visit you because I don't want it to be minus 30 degrees. That's crazy. Raining like crazy there in KC. Kansas City? Kansas City? Is that KC? Yep. It is weird. There's a particular thing I was watching. Anyone watch Lawrence from Lost in the Pond? He talks like this. Yeah, you can only watch like one or two Lost in the Pond videos at a time. Otherwise, you're just like, oh my God, Lawrence, I love you, mate. But every time you finish a sentence, and I'm like, maybe people think that I sound like that. They're like, yeah, that Ocker bloke that's like, yeah, righty dokey, she'll be right up. But no, hopefully not. But yeah, he was talking about the fact that when you meet someone from the States, they won't tell you that they're from America or the US. They'll tell you what state they're from or what city they're from. Oh yeah, I'm from Kentucky. Yo, I'm from California, dude. I'm from upstate New York, which is the weirder one. They're like, not only am I going to define the state, I'm going to tell you what direction in that state I am. Oh, I'm in downstate South Australia. Good to meet you. But it's weird because you go overseas and you're like, oh, where are you from? Brazil, Australia, Canada. And it's just like, I'm from Louisiana. And you're like, oh, the US. Okay. So yeah, if you hear something that's not a country, it's usually America. Oh man, here I am. I know he's beautiful. He's a beautiful man, very sarcastic and very good sense of humor. Hello, Brad McLaughlin. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Yeah, I'm doing a Freedom Day celebration and basically taking the piss out of Americans. But that's how we show you we love you. That's how Australians demonstrate our love for you. Is if we take the piss. Here's the thing: we have different words for joking around. You can take the piss. That means just gentle, quiet, like gentle ribbing of someone. You can hang shit on people. Which means the same sort of thing. It's like, oh, you hanging shit on me? Yeah, so it's a term of endearment and it means we love you. Hello, Dynamite Throw. Now, a couple of years, so we're talking Songtember here. By the way, if you're new to the community and you haven't been around for more than a year, Songtember is coming, and the whole reason I wanted to do a bit of a party, a bit of a catch up today, is to remind you of Songtember. And in fact, you can go to the website that I'm showing you right here, which is Songtember, studiolivetoday.com/Songtember. And what you can do is see what we did last year, find out what it's all about, but in simple terms. I challenge you to create, record, and release a song all within 1 month. We've been doing it for 5 years. This is year number 6. We've got 5 songs that I've done, and many of you here in this community have created songs as well. And a few years ago, I wrote a song that probably had the most interaction and involvement of the community of all, because we introduced the Work in Progress choir. And I'm going to play an acoustic version of this song, but then I'll play a little bit of the end of it just so that you can hear. In fact, I'll play this, and then I'm gonna take a break. But while I have a break, I'm going to play Thomas's remix of this. So you're going to get to hear both versions. I'm going to play the acoustic version, and then I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to throw Thomas Christ's remix of Work in Progress because it's bloody awesome, and he did a ripper job. And you hear a lot more of the choir, the Work in Progress choir that we put together. And when I say put together, I basically put the call out and said, hey, anyone want to sing on this? And because folks were helping me write the words for it, everyone just came in and they sent me, and it was cool because I was able to show you how to collaborate as well. So we might need to do some more things like that this year as well. Might want to tune up a little bit here. It's that B string, that pesky B. I call it the bitch string. No, I don't really. A flat. And that E's way out because... So this song, funnily enough, this song I've got more criticism of, and when I say more, literally maybe a handful of people, but there are certain folks who don't like this song because it says we're all just a work in progress. And I've got another song called Perfect. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And apparently, and I don't know this because I'm not very much of a religious kind of guy, but apparently there's a whole thing where because we are made in God's image and God was perfect, saying that we're not perfect and that we're a work in progress and that we're developing and learning so I think it's more creationist people. Am I getting any of this right? And where's my religious friends at that can help me? But apparently, if you're a creationist and you don't believe in evolution, you think that a work in progress is like affront to God, if that makes any sense at all. It doesn't really to me, but I kind of get it. If you don't science, then maybe you'd believe that. I know. OMG indeed. But I got that from more than one person who says they don't like this song because of that. So take a listen and see, put that lens across it and say, is this an affront to God? Or is it just a fun little pop song? That's called Work in Progress. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Nobody's knowing all they can. Not everything will go to plan. You might be set up, or you might get fed up, or maybe you just need a helping hand. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. We all have doubt and things to know and learn about, that we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. When everything just feels so hard, you need to strive and you'll go far. It's hard to grow up, but if you show up, you'll shine and they'll see what you are. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. With what we know, we all have time and room to grow. Cause we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. The shame and pain you feel inside, perfectionist, here's why you hide. Trust in yourself and you will see you're not alone. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. With what we know, we all have time and room to grow. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. 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 Because it's true. It's true. Some may not believe it, but I believe that we are all just a work in progress. There you go. What do you think? Sacrilegious, affront to God, or innocent little motivational pop song? You be the judge, folks. You be the judge. Azure the Wolf, hello to you. Question all authority. If no one questioned faith, we wouldn't have gotten so many things, but also don't be blind and dismissive. Yeah, look, that's the thing. Again, not getting all philosophical here or anything, but it got to be somewhere in between, doesn't it? It's got to be. Like, you got to trust in people that are smarter than you. The problem is, throw out the Dunning-Kruger effect, which if you don't know what it is, go check it out. But yeah, unfortunately, there are people who have blind faith in people who either have a vested interest or don't have the intelligence or the training or the education to actually know the stuff. So if you're taking your lessons and if you're taking your information from people who have either a flawed methodology, incorrect facts, incorrect science, or a vested interest in you believing a certain thing or not believing a certain thing, of course you're going to be in trouble. Whereas if you actually weigh up all the facts and do your own analysis and make sure not Facebook's research, don't go chat to some Facebook scientists, but actually, real people about things. Yeah. I'm not saying you can never believe in things. I'm just saying that if you believe in something, make sure you know why you believe in it and consider the source. And it's funny, it actually relates to, I was going to talk about this later, but it relates to another thing I had on my list here, which is a lot of people have been talking about social media lately and how bad social media is, especially when it comes to children. My goodness, in excuse me, here in Australia, they've got all sorts of like proposed laws and things. And I know all over the US, there's a bunch of states that are proposing restrictions and age verification for children to use the internet, and it's to protect the children. And I get it. I do. I have children and I genuinely want to protect them. But protecting them doesn't mean just restricting them from everything until they hit a magic age and then they're just allowed to go and use things. I don't think that sets them up for success either. So, yes, am I a bit too lenient? More lenient than most people when it comes to my children and the internet? Probably. Do I still keep tabs on them? Do I still track them using Apple stuff? And do I still make sure that I can see all their histories of what they've been searching for and doing? Yes. Are they smart enough that eventually they're probably going to have weird apps that they're hidden on their phones that I don't know about? Yeah, probably that too as well. But here's the thing. I think that there's an inherent advantage of this. And probably the best example of this is LGBTQ plus kids that can actually get access to information. They may not live in a situation where it's safe for them to ask information and ask for real information from real people because of family, because of friends, because of school, because of religion, because of politics, because of whatever. So for them, they have access to these communities that can actually tell them that they're not different and that they're not like wrong and that it's okay and that there's other people that feel the same way. And it was funny, I was talking to my daughter, who's 14, about exactly this. And I was saying, jokingly, I said, "Oh, you're not being influenced. You're not being like, tricked into joining a cult or anything, are you? Or influenced to be radical by the internet?" And she's like, "No, if anyone influences me, it's probably you and mum." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's good. Isn't that nice to see?" Yeah. But then I thought about it. And really, what she said without saying it there is that because there is so much information on the internet, sure, some of it's wrong, but there's also so much validation. And I think that so many people are joining, so many less people, because if you look at some of the biggest, what I would call cults, some other people call them like minority religions. But you look at the numbers, they're dwindling. And there's all of these creators. There's this whole subculture of creators that have escaped from cults and escaped from this religious persecution because of who they are and what they believe in. And it's because they have the internet. Like if you think 20 years ago, if you were a kid and you were told by your parents you must believe this thing and this is true and this is false and this is right and this is wrong, you just go along with it. Kids these days, it's almost impossible to just go along with it. And how does that relate back to all this stuff in music? I don't really know, but I just thought it was interesting that we're working so hard to restrict and to ban and to change and to not allow people access to things because we're worried about misinformation and we're worried about abuse and we're worried about all that. And I get all of that, but I also think we're missing the point that there is actually it is really important to have contradictory information out there so that people are not just getting one side and one piece of information. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my butt, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. I just thought that was interesting. Interesting when I was chatting to her because I kind of had that aha moment where I'm like, why? Because for some reason, you know how the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, just grabs hold of you. The YouTube algorithm. I watched one video about a lady who'd left the Mormon church. And then YouTube's like, "Oh, you clearly want every video ever about religious people who have left their churches." But I did. I started watching it because you've got to bow down to the algorithm. So I'm watching all this stuff and going, yeah, this makes sense because all of these people are probably here because they've searched out the information, they've found contradictory information to what they've been told their whole lives, and that's actually a good thing, in my opinion. But your opinion may vary. Let us listen to this song. So I'm going to fire this one up if my internet will allow it. Seriously, man, I'm at a loss as to where I go with this internet these days. Maybe when I get my new computer, that'll fix the internet. Sure. So I'm just going to fire this one up. It is Thomas Christ and his remix of my song Work in Progress. I'm just going to find it. I'm going to take a quick break while I play this to you. Here it is, the Further Progress TC remix of Work in Progress. And it's already playing in the background, so I'll stop that. And we'll give this one a spin. So I'll be back in a jiffy. For now, enjoy this one. This is the song you just heard about 10 minutes ago, but this is a very cool, rockier remix version by our very own Mr. Thomas Christ. I'll see you soon.
Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Nobody's doing all they can. Not everything will go to plan. You might be set up, or you might get fed up. Maybe just need a helping hand. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. We all have doubts and things to know and learn about. That we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. When everything just feels so hard, you need to strive and you'll go far. It's hard to grow up, but if you show up, you'll shine and they'll see what you are. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. With what we know, we all have time and room to grow. Cause we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. The shame and pain you feel inside, perfectionist is why you hide. Trust in yourself and you will see you're not alone. Because we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes,
Work in
we're
progress
all
choir.
just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. With what we know, we all have time and room to grow. Yes, we're all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out. 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 Nobody's got it figured out.
How epic is that? I need to chat to Thomas about how he did that, because I'm not convinced that all those sounds. I think, Thomas, you've added some stuff in there, because I can't, unless, I don't know, because I can't remember what I put in the original tracks. I know I was trying to make it kind of rockier and grungier originally, but yeah, I don't know. It sounds like there's some extra stuff in there. Yes, it is. How good is it? It's very, very cool. And that's been released as well. So you can stream that anywhere you stream. In fact, if you go to song.link, I wonder if we can find it in there if we search work in progress. Work in progress. I'll come over here. There's too many songs called Work in Progress. If I put Work in Progress, Thomas Christ, there it is. Yeah, so we can bring this up. So yeah, Song.link is kind of the new Song Whip. It's a good place to share your music, and when people share stuff with me for things like Your Music Live, if they share them on certain places like Spotify, I ask them to not do that. I come over here and I find them somewhere else so you can listen to it on various different platforms. This one doesn't have YouTube for some reason. I don't know why. Normally it has YouTube and YouTube Music on there as well, but I don't know why. That is not the case. All right, we're going to ride this internet walrus in for the next 40 odd minutes here, if we can make it that far, and talk about a few more topics. And we've got a couple more songs to play from Songtember 22 and 23 for you a little bit later in the show. I wanted to talk about subscriptions, because this has been boiling my piss this year, is the whole subscription things. And I know when we start talking subscriptions, people say, yeah, but you use subscriptions. You subscribe to Logic Pro, you subscribe to Apple One, you subscribe to YouTube Premium, and you subscribe to DistroKid. So aren't you a giant hypocrite again? It's like the fireworks all over again, Johns. And I'm like, you've really got a thing with the fireworks. But no, it's true. They are a necessary evil, and I like to think that the subscriptions I have are more utilitarian. I mean, you could argue YouTube Premium, but I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's always new content on YouTube I want to watch, and I just can't even I can't fathom having to watch the ads. I understand not everyone can afford YouTube Premium, I get it, and it's why I probably leave about half of the revenue on the table, because I just really dislike running mid-roll ads all the time, and having a 10-minute video with 3 mid-roll ads just feels creepy, so I usually only have 1 at a maximum. So I get it, but there's so many subscriptions now for everything that is not adding value. And I think that the biggest affront to subscriptions in the last few years has definitely been software, and it's definitely been where no new features are being added. So Logic Pro, for instance, I like that it was a very strategic decision for Apple to improve Logic Pro after the first year and make sure that as people were about to come into their little decision-making process about whether they should stick with Logic Pro or whether they should maybe try something different, they went, yeah, here's a new version for you. And all of us were like, hooray! We've got a new version of Logic Pro, and everyone was happy, and we all renewed our memberships, except for folks who didn't. So if, like me, you're on the annual subscription, it came up, and you're like, well, I've got Logic Pro 2 now. I should probably actually keep my subscription. Plus, I'm a YouTube content creator that focuses on this sort of thing, so I definitely had to do that. But there have been so many other instances of subscriptions that are just trying to shaft you, and some of the practices are dodgy. So I use and recommend ExpressVPN, and I use it and recommend it because it was referred to me by Leo Laporte, so from Twit, the This Week in Tech podcast, and they were a sponsor on there, and I'm like, yep, these are cool. And I signed up. And look, I was getting good utilitarian use out of having a VPN. Even just yesterday, I wanted to watch an episode of Bluey that wasn't available in Australia. Yes, this is how we roll around here. So I was able to just say, I'm in California now. And boom, straight into Disney Plus. It said, you must be traveling. I'm like, yes. And then I got to watch my Bluey episode. So there's a lot of other things, like making sure that I'm secure when I'm using public Wi-Fi and blah, 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 blah. So I get it. But what ExpressVPN didn't do is, as I was coming up to the end of my year, they gave me 0 notification, 0 warning. Now, do they have to? No. Have they done anything wrong? No. But what they really wanted is the only reason that I can actually state for why they would not let me know is if they let me know I might have reconsidered and not renewed. So what companies are actually saying to people now is, we would love to trick you into staying with us. We would love to make sure that you can just be super lazy and the subscription will just roll over and you won't even know about it, which I think is just bullshit. I don't know. Am I overreacting to this situation? But we got here because companies are so focused on bottom line. They're focused on making a profit. They're focused on share prices and paying back investors. And many of them are owned by like big hedge funds or big venture capitalist funds that really don't give a crap. Like it's an afterthought how the customer reacts. And look, I've worked in industries like this where they just wanted a customer number, and it was regardless of whether you actually wanted that service or not. They just want the customer number. Case in point, I worked in the energy industry. Yesterday, I was called by a what's called a comparator, and warning on these things. If you get an outbound phone call, an inbound phone call to your phone, and it's from someone saying, "Hi, I'm calling representing X energy company. We would love to change you to our provider," and it could be energy, it can be phone bills, it can be gas bills, it can be whatever. They are a third party comparator, and they desperately want you to sign up with them. They don't care which company you go with, they're just going to find whichever company is going to give them the best deal. Not even necessarily you the best deal, but they get paid a commission. So they're a third party, they get paid a commission by the original person to sign you up. In the music world, I have this same problem as well. There are people who call me. They don't call me. They email me and they're like, "Hi, I represent," and you got to be careful when they say "I represent," let's say Adobe. Yeah, Adobe haven't done anything wrong lately, so we won't be talking about them later. But let's say they represent Adobe. "Hi, I represent Adobe, and I would love for you to promote the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, and I'll be able to give you a commission if you include Adobe Creative Cloud Suite in a video and put a link, and then I'll pay you 4% on any sales that come through that." Yeah, they don't work for Adobe. They're a third party contractor. And the only reason that they're offering to give me 4% is they're probably getting 12%. And there's so many of these now that are these in-betweeners, these third parties that are trying to kind of persuade you. And it's hard enough dealing with the first party. It's hard enough dealing with ExpressVPN or dealing with your own energy company. But now you've got these third-party aggregators and comparators that are coming in, as well as these people trying to on-sell things and say they're representing a company. So my advice to you is to just assume that's all bullshit. Be as skeptical as you possibly can. And it's very rare. It's very rare that there is a deal that someone can offer you specifically by calling you that you can't get. So what I do with these companies now is I say, what company are you working for? I'll go onto your website and I'll check it out. They hate that. They will do everything they can. And I've got time these days. So when I'm out walking or I'm out driving around like I was yesterday, I had a good half an hour to spend with these people because he refused to tell me who he worked for. Turns out it was Utility Connect or something. But he had to put me through to a supervisor for him to tell me where he worked because he refused. He wanted to just say, I represent this company and that company. I'm like, those two are competitors. How do you represent both of them? Who do you work for? It's like, I felt like Austin Powers. Who does number two work for? And then Tom Arnold was there going, yeah, you tell that turd who's boss. No. It's yeah, and look, if you want to use these services, by all means do, but just keep in mind that you are the product in that case because they get paid a commission, sometimes a very hefty, healthy commission, for actually selling another company's product to you, which is bad. Yeah. I'd love a make your own bundle from Apple Music, Logic. Yeah, I know. I did think along those lines that Apple would do like a Pro Creator bundle that has all of that. I thought they would bundle Logic Pro, Final Cut, and storage and have it like the Pro Creator bundle. Excuse me. Let me yawn in your face. But we haven't seen it yet. We will see. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Companies that actually do this sort of stuff right will do things like that. They'll give you a free trial. Squarespace, famous for giving a free trial without taking your credit card details. I think Ecamm, who I know Thomas is using and I've been trying out, excuse me, I got to try them out. I didn't have to provide a credit card. And now I'm actually considering, if they had tricked me into just signing up, because they had my credit card number and didn't give me a notification that the trial period was about to end, I probably would have in spite cancelled. I've done that before. I've cancelled in spite, and I've even followed through and threatened to go to wherever to get refunded for things where they haven't told me about it. So yeah. Not good. Used to work for third party for Amex. Got so sick of being treated as suspicious. Yeah. That's the thing. If you work for these third-party aggregators, yeah, they do feel suspicious, and a lot of people will suspect you. And even if you try to do a legitimate thing, yeah, it's not really right. It's hard. Yeah, $120 renewal for Logic and Final Cut, and that's the thing. It is the subscription stuff is hard, but I guess Final Cut and Logic Pro, the proof will be the pudding. To be honest, I don't subscribe to Final Cut Pro. I tried it out. I think Apple gave me a 30-day or a 90-day trial when it first was released, and I said I'll give it a go. I like LumaFusion, so I didn't actually sign up. But with the new camera features with Final Cut Pro, that could actually be kind of cool. If it's going to allow me to have a couple of iPhones and record those and my screen at the same time and throw it all natively into Final Cut Pro and sync them up and edit that way, as opposed to what I have to do now, that could be a good proposition to go with. All right. Should we talk about, we've got a bit of time left. Should we talk about Adobe? So look, it's fish in a barrel situation here. But I left Adobe. I was a pioneer of leaving Adobe. I left Adobe in 2019. I used to be an Adobe Creative Cloud Suite subscriber, member, something. Originally, I got it through my workplace because I did some video editing and things. Let's be honest, I kind of just said I did a lot more video editing and audio editing as part of my job, but I did legitimately use it for my job because I worked in the quality department and the customer experience department of a call center. So I had to do things like get customer calls and chop them up in Audacity. No, what is it called? Audition, Adobe Audition, which is part of Creative Cloud, and I had to use Adobe Premiere to do some video editing because we'd put together like the screen captures and the call record. Oh, it's very fascinating, man. The early days, like I learned a lot from it, and it's helped me with video editing in the future. But man, was it dull. Like scrolling through a 30-minute call, having to chop out all the private bits because you needed to show it in front of like new trainees or something. So you had to remove and blur out every mention of a customer's account name. And if they mentioned any private information, you had to make sure you cut that bit out. So yeah, it was. I should be happy that I get to edit fun stuff now. But geez, it was a worry. Where was I at? Yeah, so I left Adobe a while ago because I didn't like the way, again, they used the same sort of thing. They used free trials and they used, but even back then, what I would consider it, again, this is just my opinion as a user, not associated with or against Adobe in any way, but I thought that the way that they managed their subscriptions was dodgy. And that they were getting too greedy and they were money grubbing, and you had to bundle things. And if you didn't bundle things, if I just wanted Premiere, I'd pay almost as much as the whole Creative Cloud. So you might as well get the Creative Cloud. The way you had to log in to access files and storage, it was all just clunky, and I didn't like it. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. I learned how to use LumaFusion on my iPhone and my iPad, and the rest is history. I started cutting in LumaFusion, and because all my audio was just GarageBand, I didn't need anything else. GarageBand for audio, LumaFusion for video, golden. So didn't need anything from Adobe anymore. But if you haven't caught up with the latest thing with Adobe, they have done something that's called dark patterns. And this is a classic. If you've ever tried to quit, you know that Friends episode where they're like, I want to quit the gym. And they make it really hard, like the Joey character and the Chandler character go to the gym and they get the blonde lady to come out that's all good looking. And they're like, oh, so you don't want to be? It's like when you're on a sales call and they're like, you don't want to save money? And I'm like, no. In fact, I'm just going to a money burning party with my rich friends where we sit around burning wads of cash. Now, go away. But the dark patterns are, especially on a website, if you're trying to cancel something or if you're signing up to something. You've heard of like the Temus and the Sheins and the things and Alibaba and stuff where you go to buy something and it auto selects like two of them. It says buy, bundle, and save, and you have to deselect it, or you get to the end and something's written in such a way where it's like, yes, I would like to be included in the thing, and you're like, oh, that's the bit where I sign up for the marketing. I don't want that, but it's actually used like double negative language, and you've unticked the yes, please don't send me stuff. That's the sort of thing that we're seeing with dark patterns and making it really difficult. Like, again, the classic one is like internet companies and phone companies trying to quit them. You go through this form and it's like, are you sure? Is like a little tiny thing down here, and the giant button is stay with us. No, I changed my mind. So, and then you click the little thing and it's like, oh, one of our customer care team will be in touch with you. So you can't even complete the cancellation process. So excuse me, Adobe got into trouble for something similar to this. But what they did see is, and I wonder if it's still there. I wonder if I sign up if it's still there. But a lot of companies do this. They have a monthly subscription and a yearly subscription. And the monthly subscription is month to month. So you can pay, let's just say you paid $60 a month, but it's month to month. In fact, let's go to Ecamm Live, because this is someone who I'm considering signing up to at the moment, and they do things okay, same sort of stuff, but they make it really clear. So this is how a company is going to make it clear of how their things work. If we go back to their products, Ecamm Live, the information, here it is. So where is their payments section here? There it is, plans. So it's on the top right. Still a bit hard to get to things like plans, but here we go. So here's your subscriptions, and a lot of places have like this. So monthly is like this. So $14 per month, 30% off. 30% off. Or yearly, discount applies to the first year. I didn't see this discount the other day. 30% off Ecamm Live. I'm going to have to sign up now. Did you get this the other day, Thomas? Okay. But yeah, so here's the thing. If you go monthly, now it's giving me the same for both. No, there it is. So you can see monthly is normally $40 per month. At the moment, it's $28 per month. If you go yearly, it's $32 a month or $22.40 per month. So they're actually giving you a discount for going yearly. But when you go through with a company like Ecamm, I'm assuming it will very clearly say that you are paying for a year up front. What Adobe did is they had a monthly plan and a yearly plan, but the yearly plan was billed monthly, except that if you cancelled, you got charged for 50% of whatever was left. So let's just say that you signed up and instead of going to monthly, you went with the yearly but paid monthly, then you're basically doing yearly. It's giving you a payment plan over the year. Let's see if Adobe still have this if we go. Can we, see now I've got to try and find how to sign up. Creative Cloud, free trial? No, I don't want a free trial. Here we go. Annual paid monthly, annual prepaid, and monthly. So here's the thing. We've got an annual paid monthly, which is $1,055 per year, $87.99 per month. We've got annual prepaid, so you get a discount for prepaying it. And then we have monthly. So they've actually changed this language because this used to say monthly as well, but now they must have been told to clear it up. I think I need some tea with honey in a big bad way. There you go. So annual paid monthly, annual prepaid, and monthly. So they've got three different options there, but this one, the annual paid monthly, fees apply if you cancel after 14 days. They still haven't told you what these fees are. What does that say? If you cancel within 14 days, your service will continue till the end of that month billing period. You'll be charged an early. See, this is the thing. You will be charged an early termination fee. They still have not changed this. What early termination fee? How much will I be charged? When will I be charged it? This is dark patterns. This is not giving you all the information you need to make a buying decision at the front page. So that's what we're talking about. Yes, and I do. I know I've still got this horrible little cough. Yeah, sorry, Thomas. Sorry you missed out on that. I didn't get it either when I went there the other day, and then I did now. So maybe because I let my this is the other thing. This is the other thing I don't love. Is that when you let something expire, they come back at you with a better deal. And look, I'll be honest, our friends at DistroKid have this. So I have a 7% DistroKid discount that I can offer to you, to anyone, anytime. You can go to my VIP page and you get a 7% off. On some social media platforms, they offer sometimes 10 or 20, or I've seen 30% off. And sometimes if you go and don't complete the sign-up process, you get an even higher discount if you do that. So it's a little bit rewarding people who don't make the decision straight away, and I don't kind of love that. I don't know. I'm the sort of person that I'm like, if in a perfect world, there's just one price for everyone all the time. But I get that variable pricing is a way that companies use to encourage, I won't use the M word, to encourage folks to actually sign up. Yeah. Then there's the fee. See, every time there's a fee, you have to pay a small fee on that fee. Funnily enough, there was a fee. Oh man, I'm gonna have to finish early if I keep coughing like this. Maybe I'll play another song. Hang on. There was a there's a thing where have you ever seen these things where you pay a percentage on your credit card payment? I was at the ridiculous point with my previous internet retailer where my bills just kept going up because they kept charging me the higher amount with the fee, and then that fee got added to the next one. So it was then a higher amount. It was this weird thing where it capitulated. And by the end, I was paying like an extra $2. And I'm like, do I need to send these guys a $2 coin so that it cuts off that little extra payment and not paying a few extra cents every month? Because, yeah, when you start paying a fee on top of a fee on top of a fee and it's percentage based, it starts just building up and it's ridiculous. Can't unsubscribe to PBS. Impossible task. Yeah. It can be that way. So yeah, bottom line is people are very unhappy with Adobe. And weirdly, unlike other times where people have been unhappy with Adobe, I'm seeing and hearing people actually leaving now. And I think Adobe are kind of in a bit of trouble because there's never been more other options. Like Adobe used to be the game in town. If you weren't cutting on Final Cut, you were cutting on Premiere. Like simple as that. Like if you were a serious content creator, you were using either Final Cut if you're a Mac person, or if you're a PC person like me, it was Premiere. There was no DaVinci Resolve. iMovie was very poor. LumaFusion didn't exist. So you kind of were stuck with Adobe. You were suckling at the Adobe teat. And the same with Photoshop. And the same with, like, even with Audition, even though I forgot the name of it before. Like, they had the best creator tools. And now they've just got some creator tools. And there's plenty of other ways you can use it. Like, when I left Adobe, I went to Canva for all my graphic design. And I know that, say, Jade uses GoDaddy Studio, which used to be called something else, for a lot of her design work. And yeah, and the same with video editing. I just went straight to LumaFusion. So Canva and LumaFusion together. LumaFusion I paid $50 for once. Ever, and Canva I pay $10 a month. Like, and you saw there it was going to be what $950 for a year of Adobe Creative Suite, and what do I pay for Canva? $120. Like, there's no comparison, and I don't need the power. I'm not removing things using Photoshop. And if you do need to do some of that stuff, there's some AI tools that you can use to do it. There you go. We've circled all the way back around. Can I react to Kiawa by Portraits? If you are that band or that artist and you would like to submit a song for me to play on my Your Music Live show, you can go to studiolivetoday.com/YML and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I didn't even touch on that because, yeah, again, it's low-hanging fruit. But yes, Adobe got into trouble because they just slid into their terms of service that they would start using people's work. So I was watching a video from a creator who's like a professional photographer, does like wedding photography and stuff. And he was like, no, Adobe, you can't do that because I don't have the approval of my clients of whom I'm taking the pictures of, sometimes of, children and families. I do not want you just because you force me to upload your stuff to the cloud because that's how you work. I do not want to give you permission to use my client's personal information and likeness to train your AI models for free with my data. So yeah, they're doing all the not good. You can get, don't forget you can get teacher discounts, you can get student discounts on a lot of things. Always check that before you do. I'm like, when I bought my new Mac, I'm like, oh man, I should have bought it as my daughter. Because I think you get a 10% student discount. And then they'd be like, why does your daughter need a Mac Studio with 64 gigabytes of RAM? I'm like, oh yeah, she's heavily into 3D animation. Sure, let's go with that. No, I wanted it registered to me so that they know who I am. So that when the new M4 Macs come out, they let me borrow one because they know that I actually do buy stuff occasionally. Alrighty, where are we at? So yeah, we're heading towards the end of the show here. I know it's been something a bit different. Well, we're kind of doing that over this weekend. I'm just doing things a little bit differently because I'm a bit tired. It's been a long year, and we're only in July. So I'm taking a little bit of time off over the weekend, not over the weekend, but next week. So GarageBand Weekly is a premiere, so you'll see that one's already there, ready and raring to go. Have the happy hour and have Your Music Live as per usual, but then we've got a couple of days off. So if you see a bit of a blank space on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, it's because I'm taking a little time. because I need to. Because sometimes you need to just take some time out for yourself. I'll still be playing music. I'll still be around the place, hanging out with the community, but I will not be creating videos per se. I'm just going to jump back over to the Distro Kid because 2 years ago we had a Songtember song, and it's probably one of my favourites of all time that we've done because I got to do a fun little video for it as well as do the music. So quite often, well, not quite often, a couple of times I've done a video as well as the audio, usually in October, November of that year. And this one, speaking of feeling old and a little bit tired, I was feeling a little old and I was feeling a little tired, and I wrote a song about being old and tired. It was called Grown. It was kind of going back to after the rocking songs that we played before. It was going back to more like Work in Progress. Kind of took a step back, and then Grown went all a bit acoustic and folky again. So it is a song that I enjoy. It kind of makes me chuckle because it holds a soft spot in my heart because I am a grown ass man, and very often I would like to be taken home. Funnily enough, I went out last night. There's this festival here in. I'll grab some photos and see if I can send them over. I'll have to go back on the Wi-Fi. There's this fire festival that they're doing in the Botanic Gardens here in Adelaide at the moment, and I was out at that last night, and it's I don't want to be places for very long, so we got home at about like 9 o'clock or something like that, 9:30, and I'm like, yep, that's about my maximum these days. Yeah, I know. We still need Grown Ass Man too. It'll be like really quiet and slow. I'll do it when I'm like 70. I'll be like, I used to be young, and now I'm old. Anyway, without any further ado, let's take a listen to this one, shall we? This is Grown, Songtember 2022.
Never one for going hard. Never had a fear of missing out. Never happy in a crowd. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm a grown ass man. Please take me home. I've done all that I can. Please take me home. Never had to see the lights. Never had an urge for starting fights. Kinda happy on my own. And I know I'm surely not alone, 'cause I just don't have a plan. Please take me home. I've had all I can stand. Please take me. So I quietly creep up the back stairs and you won't hear a sound. You'll awake and wonder what the time is. It's only 10 p.m. I'm a grown-ass man. Please take me home. I've done all that I can. Please take me home. I just don't have a plan. Please take me home. And I've had all I can stand. Please take
me home, James. Yeah, I won't play that NXS tune. That will not be copyright free. Yeah. So yeah, it's been cool. Like even just going back through all of these Songtember songs, it kind of reminds me why I do this. Sometimes I just need to like knock on my own door and go, why do I do this again? And it's so that I can look back on things. And you know what? We started this couple of hours by talking about nostalgia, and I guess I'm as guilty of it as anyone because I do. I like those days. But I guess the difference is I want to keep doing. I want to keep doing more and I want to try different and new things. Because as cool as it is to listen to old music and go, yep, that was that. I want to see what's next. Like, what do I create next? Am I going to go the same direction? And that's why I love the serendipity, the lack of knowing what I'm going to create for Songtember, and just sitting down and starting. It's terrifying, but at the same time, it's super liberating as well. So, yeah, I got no idea. No idea. Are we going to rock out this year? Are we going to be happy, sad? Are we going to be acoustic or electric? Am I going to do a rap song? Who knows, man? Who knows? But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I do like walking about, and it was cool to do that. I'll probably go for a wander down by the river today. I haven't done a live stream from my walks for a while for our wonderful members like Mark, so maybe I have to do that soon as well. Yeah, I think it's exciting too, and I think that's where yeah, nostalgia ain't what it used to be. I think that's where I don't like the whole just looking back. I wrote a song called New Day, which is all about this concept as well. And yeah, I just think that a lot of people, when they look back, you got your rose colored glasses on, and when you look forward, because a lot of us are scared of the unknown. And look, a little thing called COVID didn't help any of us with this. But I think when you think that bad things could happen in the future, you get more comfort and reassurance from looking back at things that happened in the past as opposed to looking forward and going what's up the track, because it could be bad but it could be good, and it could be, and that's the thing. We have these rose colored glasses looking back, but we have, what's the opposite of rose colored glasses? Poop colored glasses looking forward, because we're like, oh, when's the next pandemic coming? What if I get really sick? I bet you that I'm going to fly in a plane and have a crash and not win $1 million and whatever else people say. So we've talked about a lot of things today. We've talked about music. We've talked about nostalgia, a little bit of AI. We've talked about my hatred of fireworks. We've talked about subscriptions. We've talked about avoiding cults and Adobe, and I don't use those in the same sentence, so completely non-deliberately. So what about the future? What about the future of this channel and of GarageBand and Logic Pro and mobile creating? I know that Jade and Patrick on Jade's show today. If you caught that one, go over to jadestar.com.au or just search Jade Star. If you search Jade Star Patrick Baird on the YouTubes, I bet you find it. But they were talking about where we've been, but also what the future is looking like. And yeah, look, it's challenging because there are more people doing more things with the developer side of things. Yeah, Jade made the joke, and I do it as well. It's like, do we need another Reverb AUV3 plugin? Like, do we not have enough reverbs now? I'm kind of the same with guitar amp sims. Someone sent me an email the other day like, hey, we got a new guitar amp sim. And I'm like, how do I nicely say, we don't really need, especially distorted tones. I'm like, yeah, we need another guitar amp that sounds just like a DS1 pedal. But I don't, at the same time, I love that these people have passion for it and that they want to do it. And I feel bad, genuinely bad, actually saying things like that, because I don't want people to stop creating. And look, those same people could probably be very critical of me. They're like, Johns, you say the same things over and over again. You do the same videos. You show the same things. You need to do some more variety. And look, I do. And I have been. Like Logic Pro, I think Patrick mentioned this, has really given us a fresh thing, a fresh perspective, something different to look at and something different to cover and to follow. So yeah, I'm definitely delving into that. At the same time, I get in trouble from the GarageBand folks for doing that, because they're like, go back to focusing on GarageBand. But I think the beauty of a channel is that it's a channel. we do different things. You're not gonna if I did something that was trying to please everyone all the time, I'd please no one none of the time. And I think that's the thing that sometimes we forget is that yeah, you should be scrolling past a lot of the videos. I don't have the sort of channel where everyone should watch every video and every minute and every second of every video, but I love the fact that we've got a community here that can duck in and duck out, and there'll be 20, 30 people watching live, and then there'll be a few hundred that watch on the replay, and then I might talk about a topic that really resonates with a certain subgroup of people, and then I'll talk about another topic that they won't have any interest in that someone else will have interest in, and that's the way I'm going. Otherwise, I would be just following the memes and following the trends, and I would have already had a why Adobe is super evil video just so that I could pile onto that. And I do that from time to time when it's super relevant. The Spotify stuff, I talked about that in a podcast because people were asking me about it. They wanted to hear my opinion. So sometimes I will follow the trends and the memes, but more often than not, I look to what is going to provide the most benefit, what's going to help the most amount of people that ties into my expertise. Because I can't talk about AI that much because I don't know the ins and outs. And I definitely didn't cover crypto when that was the big thing because Web 3.0 was a scam, still is. But it also, it wasn't going to help anyone. It wasn't going to help musicians. People, oh man, musicians are going to make a fortune selling NFTs. I don't know of too many musicians that are, sitting on a beach sipping a pina colada because they sold all their NFTs a couple of years ago. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on in the future, but it will be good times regardless. The good old days, that should be singular. The good old day. Do you have a song of yours that you don't like anymore? Ah, interesting question. Maybe we'll close out with that. I'll try and find a song I don't like anymore and play it because I do have a few. I'll go through the playlist, and how about I do that? I will finish off today with my least favorite song. Could be controversial, couldn't it? I'll go through my DistroKid, and of all the songs I've released, I'll find you the one that I like the least and play that for you. There is Jay's interview with Patrick. Hello, Rena here. I hope I keep looking around and have less and less people I want to be around. Yeah, it's true. It happens sometimes. It's cool. Do we need a DI box if we have an interface? No, generally not. So an interface, as Thomas says here, doesn't require a DI because they have a high Z, a high Z, high impedance input that's for instruments. So just make sure that you're plugging in using a 1/4-inch jack and that your input is set to an instrument level input as opposed to a mic level signal, and you'll be hunky dory. And do we need an EQ pedal if we have a DAW? Generally not. No, you can usually do EQ is one of those things that you can almost get the exact same result if you do it post as if you do it pre. So a lot of people are like, oh, I need to EQ on the way in. You really don't, because EQ is just volume norms for your frequencies. So in fact, if you record things flat and then adjust the EQ afterwards, it does give you more flexibility. So, because if you cut a frequency on the way in or boost a frequency on the way in, yeah, especially if you cut it, you're kind of lost. You don't have that frequency there to turn up. Whereas if you capture every frequency, then you can turn up and down whatever frequencies your desire. All right, so yes, we only have a couple of things to talk about here. One is that I would love to play for you. While I play this song, I will think about the question. I'll hear in my window, I'll look into this, and I'll decide which of my songs and look, not that I dislike, but which song I like the least. Looking back on it, which song do I like the least of all the songs I've released, or one that kind of makes me cringe? We'll discover that one. So I'm going to play I was going to try this acoustically, but I already kind of did an acoustic thing with another electric song, and this song I'm pretty proud of the end result, and I put some effort in and did a nice lyric video for it. It's only 3 minutes long, and it's got Jade Starr on the drums, so I think it's a good one to just give a spin. This is the most recent. This is last year's, and this song has more time signature changes and more variations in tempo and more dynamic range than pretty much any song I've ever created before. So I hope you enjoy this one. A little 10-month-old song of mine. It's called Choices. This is last year's 2023 Solitude.
choices in life. Choices in life. They will try to do it to you. You have a choice. We need a voice. If you make it, they will break it. We need a change. We need a break. We'll judge you for things that you just cannot change. Why do you care what they think of your choices in life? You're not the star of your own one-man show. You think you know more than I'll ever know. You won't admit that you also feel pain. You just repeat what the others
They have a choices. That was last song effort, and yeah, it takes me back. Takes me back to Songtember 2023 and Songtember 2024, just around the corner. Yeah, I did have a look at which of my songs I I like the least, or that kind of I think I could have done more with, and it's this one. It's a song I did called "We're Trying to Have a Society Here," and the reason that I kind of find this one, I just think that it had a good concept and it needed to be developed more. So I think for me, and I won't play it here now because we're running out of time, but you can go and check that one out. I think sometimes I want to get a song done and I focus too much on the completion and not enough on saying, hey, just wait a minute. This could be good if you finish it now, or it could be great if you give it a bit more. I think I overcorrected. For a few years there, I overcorrected from what I used to do, which is spend too much time obsessing over a song and making sure it was perfect and actually making it worse, and being too rushed, thinking, oh, I've got to get this finished so I can move on to the next, sexy thing, and then not spending enough time on it. So that's probably the choice that I would say. The one that kind of makes me cringe a bit. There's another song called Bully that I did that's a little bit cringy. If you've seen that one, it's the one that uses the A League of Their Own, like the Tom Hanks No Crying in Baseball song. And again, I think it's cool, but it's just too long and it doesn't have enough variation. It's just whoa, whoa, whoa. So I do cringe a little bit when I hear that. And the third candidate, there's a song called Fence Sitter that I did that just has the squeakiest fingerstyle acoustic guitars. And I remember trying to reduce the squeakiness and EQ it a bit, but I really couldn't get it exactly how I wanted it. So I kind of just left it in there. So if I could redo that one with less squeaky fingers, if I could, resin up my fingers or wet them a bit so that they slid around on the strings and I didn't get as much string noise, then maybe that's it. We don't have time for one more question. We've got 90 seconds to go. Is there a magic thing to do to get your MIDI keyboard to actually you play a decent volume in the AUV3 app. I'm back to playing off the tiny keyboards. To get your MIDI keyboard to play a volume, most MIDI keyboards have a volume controller in there. What I tend to do is if you don't need, because sometimes the sensitivity is too much, I'll turn your velocity sensitivity down, which some keyboards let you do, or you can do that within GarageBand itself. But yeah, turn the volume up to the max on your MIDI keyboard if it has a volume control, so it's sending the right level of velocity, and yeah, play around with the settings in the app as well, because it might have some sort of velocity setting. Because yeah, I found that especially with AUV3, some external apps do tend to be a little quiet. They'll not get the full velocity of your keyboard, and you tend to have to really punish it to make it work properly. So well, hopefully that helps you somewhat. No, you're welcome. It's an interesting question. Like, I don't normally think about. I'm proud. They're all my babies, and I'm proud of everything I've done. And I reckon I'll finish with this. The whole reason I say create, record, release is that I think that it gives you this time capsule, this wonderful time capsule, and that's why Songtember is so important, and that's why it's so important that you, yes, you finish and share your music, because you get so much great feedback about it, but it helps you learn what's going to work next time, and it can also create this wonderful little time capsule that you can look back upon and say, that's what I was like in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and into the future. That's going to do it for this one, folks. I'm going to see you over the weekend on all the other shows here. If you listen to the podcast version, thank you. Please leave a rating, review, whatever you like, wherever you'd like to do that. Don't forget to like the video, whether you're watching here live or on the replay, because thumbs up, the sun's up. And as we always say, please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time here on Studio Live today. Bye for now.